We have a very pivotal matchup in the NFC South as the New Orleans Saints are taking on the Carolina Panthers in New Orleans. This is your Week 1 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the home team, the New Orleans Saints. They're entering new territory. You do have some of the same old faces, but you have some brand new coaches coming over. You no longer have Pete Carmichael being the offensive coordinator. You now have Clint Kubiak, and hopefully he can come over and he can help the New Orleans Saints. Last season was a very disappointing season. They tied with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but due to a tiebreaker, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went to the NFL playoffs, and the New Orleans Saints did not. This is a very pivotal season for the New Orleans Saints. I think that Clint Kubiak's going to come in. He's going to try to help out Derek Carr as much as possible. The key to victory on the offensive end is to get the playmakers the ball as soon as possible. Utilize Alvin Kamara as a receiving back. It's been too many times over the last few seasons to where they have not known what to do with Alvin Kamara. Pete Carmichael was a terrible offensive coordinator. We saw what Sean Payton was able to do with Alvin Kamara. Hopefully, Clint Kubiak can do some similar things. Put him inside the slot and lean more on Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams was a very valuable running back. A couple of years ago, he led the league in rushing touchdowns. Jamal Williams does not have the same explosiveness as Alvin Kamara, but he can make a lot of moves in between the tackles. Go back to what the Saints had years prior with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams can be that thunder, while Alvin Kamara can be that lightning. Give Alvin Kamara 10 to 15 carries in this game and let him do his thing in a receiving role, and rely on Jamal Williams as much as possible. Kendre Miller is on the IR list right now, dealing with an injury, but you have those two running backs healthy. They're going to need Jamal Williams in this game because you're going against a tough front of the Carolina Panthers. You want to make life easy on Derek Carr. You also have Chris Olave as well. Now, Chris Olave and Derek Carr were off and on last season. They were hot and cold. A lot of that is due to miscommunication. It was their first year playing together. This is year number 2, and this is year number 2 with Derek Carr being the starter for the New Orleans Saints. Go out there and get him the football, but don't force him the football. The New Orleans Saints have a lot of good weapons at the skill position. You have Alvin Kamara, of course, Jamal Williams, who I like a lot. You have Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed is questionable, but he's on pace to play in this game. He is a speedy wide receiver, and he has very good hands as well. You also have Juwan Johnson, who missed extensive time last season dealing with an ankle injury, but right now he's fully healthy. He's one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. You don't have to go out there and force the football to Chris Olave just because he is a number 1 guy. Rashid Shaheed can take over this game, and the same with A.T. Perry as well. It was too many times last season to where Derek Carr was forced to throw the football to Chris Olave because it was a primary read. I'm telling you guys, Pete Carmichael would call slants and he would put Chris Olave on a go route, and he would be the only option that Derek Carr could throw the football to because everyone else was just running to zone coverage. You want to go out there and be more creative with the play calling and get the football out quick. The Carolina Panthers may no longer have Brian Burns, but they have a lot of players on the front 7 that can get after the quarterback. One part of the concern with the New Orleans Saints for this upcoming season is their offensive line protection. Ryan Ramczyk, their best offensive lineman, is going to miss the entire upcoming season due to a knee injury. You did draft Talasay Fuaga in the first round. Hopefully he can come in. He can be a very good tackle on day 1. You have some very good offensive linemen here as well. But last season, the offensive line was not good. You can say it was due to coaching, but at the same time, these guys cannot block. And I am worried about the offensive line long term. Trevor Penning, can he go out there and can he prove that he can be a very good franchise tackle? So far, he's been a bust in his career. He missed some time his rookie season dealing with a foot injury, and last season, he was unplayable at times. The offensive line protection is the number 1 point of emphasis for the New Orleans Saints. If they can protect Derek Carr and he can get the football to those playmakers, you're going to be in a very good situation. And Derek Carr and the offense looked very good in the preseason, but we're done with the preseason. Can it translate over to the regular season? So the point of emphasis, get Alvin Kamara the football in a receiving role, feed Chris Olave, but do not force him the football, and protect Derek Carr at all costs. Far as the defense, this is a strong suit with the New Orleans Saints. Dennis Allen as a head coach is very questionable. As a defensive mind, he's very good. You have talent all over the field. This is going to be one of the most underrated defenses going into this brand new season. You just went out there, you bring in Chase Young. Pass rushing was an issue at times for the New Orleans Saints last season. Cameron Jordan's on the back end of his career, but he can still go out there and he can pressure the quarterback. He can't bring them down with the same emphasis that he was able to do early on in his career. And the sack numbers have went down in the last couple of years. But Chase Young is a very good player if he can stay healthy. And he just had neck surgery. He is 100%. He's been ramping things up in practice. He is ready to go. The Saints have to get after Bryce Young and press up the wide receivers of the Carolina Panthers, of Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen. This is a different Carolina Panthers team. Last season, their only option was Adam Thielen. You have to pay very close attention to Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette as well. But go out there with your front seven and try to get after Bryce Young. It's a brand new offensive line for the Panthers. I'm going to talk about that in the next couple of minutes. But Cameron Jordan is going to have to be a playmaker in this game. The same with Carl Granderson as well. He led the team in sacks last season. And he's one of those favorite guys that Dennis Allen likes to rely on, especially on third down. Can he be that game-changing playmaker? You add in Nathan Shepard and Kalen Saunders as well. You have a very good front four that can go out there and stop the run. And they can go out there and try to control the line of scrimmage. But it's going to be harder for this upcoming season against the Carolina Panthers because they have some reinforcements on that offensive line. As far as the linebackers with the New Orleans Saints, they're very good. I like Pete Warner. DeMario Davis is one of the most slept-on linebackers in the NFL. He's very good. He had a strong season last season, and he's been a very good player with the New Orleans Saints since he signed the contract to come to New Orleans. You have Willie Gay as well. This would be his first game with the Saints. He's coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Has dealt with injuries in the past, but he's a very fast and physical linebacker. Stop the run of the Carolina Panthers, press up on those wide receivers, and force Bryce Young to beat you over the top. Bryce Young is still a mystery. He did not play particularly well last season as a rookie due to pressure in his face, and I trust that Dennis Allen can go out there and try to maintain and try to stop the offense of Dave Canales. And you look at the secondary of the New Orleans Saints. This is the strongest part of their defense with Paulson Adebo, who's a very good cornerback. Alontae Taylor is very good in his own right as well. And you have Marshawn Lattimore. Kool-Aid McKinstry is questionable to play in this game. He's dealing with an injury, but he may go out there. He may give you a couple of snaps. But even if he's not able to do that, you have Marshawn Lattimore, who is ready to play right now. As long as he's healthy, he's one of the best number one cornerbacks in the NFL to have. He can match up on some of the best wide receivers in the game, and he can ice them out for the majority of the game. But you have to play it by downs here. They no longer just have to just go out there and force the football to Adam Thielen. You really want to pay attention to the tight ends and the running backs come out of the backfield with the Carolina Panthers. But I think that the Saints would be in a very good shape to go out there and win this game with them having that home field advantage. Now let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. It's been a rough time the last couple of years. You had Matt Rule as the head coach. You fired him. You went in with Frank Reich at the beginning of last season. You fired him at the midway point in the season. And now you're bringing in the former offensive play caller for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a year ago, Dave Canales. He's said this over and over again in every single press conference. He wants to run the football, and I trust him to try to go out there and do that. They're going to try to run the football with Chuba Hubbard. Jonathan Brooks is going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. He's recovering from that torn ACL that he suffered in college. You also have Miles Sanders as well. I'm not the biggest fan of Miles Sanders, so you're going to have to really ride on Chuba Hubbard in this game. We don't know what Bryce Young is. Bryce Young did not have a very good rookie season last season, but he was the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL next to Sam Howell. The kid had no time in the pocket, and they only had one good receiving option in Adam Thielen. You bring in Deontay Johnson in a trade with the Steelers. You traded Dante Jackson to bring him in. I think he's going to be a very good wide receiver. He's scheduled to be their number one target right now, and it will push Adam Thielen to be the number two. You also drafted Xavier Legette in the first round, and you have Jonathan Mingo as well. You have a lot of young pieces at the wide receiving position, and you have a young quarterback as well. This is a very pivotal season for the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. But besides them bringing in brand new wide receivers, they went out there and they upgraded this offensive line to the T. You bring in two brand new offensive guards in Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, and Austin Corbett is now your brand new center. I think the interior of the offensive line has to go out there and prove that they're going to be one of the better interior groups in the NFL day one. You have to establish that run game to go out there and help out Bryce Young. run the football on first and second down, throw some screens here and there, take the pressure off of Bryce Young so he can fully see the field. Part of the reason to why Bryce Young struggled so much last season was due to offensive line protection and also because of terrible play calling. Dave Canales in the past has been a very good quarterbacks coach. He helped Russell Wilson have a lot of good seasons. He went out there and he helped Baker Mayfield turn his career around. He's hoping to do the same with Bryce Young. And what did he do with those guys? It came down to the run game and the screen game as well. Even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, in terms of getting a push up front, was not good last season, he tried to run the football as much as possible. They're going to try to dominate the line of scrimmage against the New Orleans Saints. Will they be able to do it? We'll see. The biggest concern with the Carolina Panthers on the offensive line of things, it's not even their interior or even their right tackle. I'm worried about Ickey at the left tackle position. They have said that he's looked better. We'll see how he looks against the front seven of the New Orleans Saints. If he struggles early on, try to slide over protection and give him some help. You do not want Bryce Young to go out there and get pressured over and over again and to get beat up behind the line of scrimmage. I will also say this, get him on the run. He's a very athletic quarterback that can make some plays on the run. Get the play action game going, run through the screens, and control this offense through the running backs. Don't force anyone the football and just make the reads easy and simple for Bryce Young up front. Take some deep shots down the middle of the field, which he did do last season. You have to be very conscientious of that. The New Orleans Saints are a very physical defense. They're going to try to go out there and try to press you up. We saw that last season. Try to do some double moves with Deontay Johnson. You can do some dump down screens to him as well. The reason why I say you can do some screens with Deontay Johnson, he is very good with yards after the catch and with the moves he's able to do after the catch as well. He has a very good juke move and a very good spin move as well. Be on the lookout for Deontay Johnson to possibly have a big game against the New Orleans Saints. But it comes down to the offensive line protection and can you just slow the game down to help out Bryce Young. Far as the defense for the Carolina Panthers, you're going to try to get a lot of pressure up front. They no longer have Brian Burns, like I mentioned before. He is now with the New York Giants. And DJ is going to be out for this game. They're hoping that him and Jadeveon Clowney could both go out there and cause a lot of pressure. DJ is dealing with a quadriceps injury right now, and he's going to miss some extensive time. You look at Jadeveon Clowney. Last season, he had 9.5 sacks. But the problem is this with Jadeveon Clowney. He's more so of a run stopper than he is as a true pass rusher. And I'm not saying that he can't go out there and he can't take over a game, but he is not known to be one of the top pass rushers in the NFL. You have Derek Brown who can eat up double teams. Hopefully Jadeveon Clowney can go out there and he can match the intensity of Derek Brown. And they can try to go out there and dominate the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints. Like I mentioned before, that's the biggest weakness with the Saints. Some people can say what they want to say about Derek Carr. You give him enough time in the pocket, he could be a very good quarterback for you. But when you don't, pretty much in any quarterback in the NFL, they're not going to look the same. So you want to try to go out there, generate a lot of pressure, and test out those young offensive linemen for the New Orleans Saints and try to stop the run game as much as possible. You also have Josie Jewell as well, who is a very good linebacker. When you look at the Carolina Panthers team, they lost some key defensive players, but they recruit in a very good way. Josie Jewell fits the system to a T. He was the former player for the Denver Broncos. When Coach E was the defensive coordinator over there, he was able to make a lot of moves. Hopefully he can do the same thing over here with the Carolina Panthers. He's a good pass rusher, can make good plays in space. He can also go out there and stop the run. He's just overall is a very good linebacker to have. You also have Shaq Thompson as well. Now, last season, his season was cut short. His teammate did him dirty, but it was by accident. When they faced the New Orleans Saints last season, it was the first time the two teams went against each other on a Monday Night Football game. His teammate slammed a Saints player on his leg, and he broke his leg. Shaq Thompson has been Mr. Consistent in that linebacking room. Good in coverage, good at making tackles, just a solid linebacker to have. I think that he's going to return back to form. He's going to be a huge game changer in this game for the Carolina Panthers. As far as the secondary, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you no longer have Dante Jackson. You traded him to the Steelers. He's dealt with some injuries in the past, but when he was on the field, he's a very good player. You have J.C. Horn, who is a true number one cornerback in the NFL. He's phenomenal. He's amazing. I'm worried about who that number two cornerback is going to be. Dane Jackson is on IR. He's not going to be able to play in this game. You also look at a guy like Michael Jackson. Can he come in? Can he give you good reps at the cornerback position? You also look at Troy Hill as well. I trust Coach E to go out there and do his thing on the defensive end, but this is definitely not the same Carolina Panthers defense over the last couple of seasons. You have a lot of new faces here, and we'll see how things work out on week 1. With that being said, this is going to be a very good and physical football game. It's going to come down to the play calling. We know that Dennis Allen can coach up a defense, but can Click Kubiak get everyone on the same page, and can he get those guys scoring in an effective way? Early on last season for the New Orleans Saints, their red zone offense was completely terrible. As the season progressed, it got better, but it was a little bit too late. Carolina Panthers, we know their issues. Last season, terrible coaching, terrible offensive line play. You're hoping they can do a complete 180. With that being said, I have the New Orleans Saints winning this game. They're in New Orleans. I think that the Panthers are still a ways away from actually truly contending in this division. You just want to see some growth from Bryce Young. And I do think that he will show a lot of good in this game. But I believe that the New Orleans Saints will come out on top with a brand new offensive play caller. I could be wrong. But I'm taking the New Orleans Saints to win this game 28-20. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game? The New Orleans Saints or the Carolina Panthers? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.